with your new friend Ty.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Tea Party Podcast. It's the podcast where you find new friends and new music. This week, I am joined by an Alabama native whose Appalachian thoughts have been turned into hit songs like Living the Dream, and you'll get to see him Sunday at Farmjam Festival in Colville, Washington. Let's welcome to the show the one and only Drake White. Drake, man, how the heck are you?
Man, I'm fabulous. How you doing?
I am doing well. It's been a long week already. We're early on into it, but it's heading in the right direction. I get to see you in about 10 days here. So yeah. It'll be a good time.
Yes, sir. Always a good time when you get to play music in front of people. And yeah, I can't wait.
Awesome. We'll tee off with Drake next.
It's time to tee off with Ty and today's guest, Drake White. Here comes the first four.
Okay, Drake, we start every show the same way. It's called the first four. And just kind of four fun questions to get the ball rolling. The first one that I've got for you, if you couldn't be in the entertainment industry, what job would you have?
I would be either a river, like a kayaking guide, or I would do something with the forestry service. Have my own business as like doing some forestry work or something like that, I believe.
I feel like you've got to live in some pretty specific places to do either one of those. Is there somewhere specific that you'd be living to do that stuff?
I don't really see me, there's a lot of pine that's harvested in Alabama. I love Alabama, and could see myself, definitely living there. But I also like Montana and the Pacific Northwest too. So, I don't know. I've always been so kind of baptized in music that, but I always did a lot of stuff. So, I could have easily went and had my own construction company, but anyway, I'm answering that question. I'd have my own business, and I would be doing it for myself for sure.
I like it. Okay. How about this one? If I give you control of the music at a party, what's the first song you're going to play for everybody to kind of get them up and going?
At a party, I'm probably playing Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. That stuff that they're doing right now. I mean, it's just insane. And then I'm probably going to swap to, 90s country. I mean, it's hard to go wrong at a party with just anything from Joe Diffie to, Clay Walker that's what we always go to when we're here, on the Traeger and grilling out and hanging out and by the pool or something,
Sounds like my kind of party, my friend.
Absolutely. Hard to beat.
How about this one? If you could bring a character from a TV show or a movie to life and hang out with them for the day, who would it be?
Oh, man. Probably like cartoons.
Yeah, anybody. Any fictional character.
Any fictional character. It'd probably be what's his name? Wooderson. Wooderson from Dazed and Confused.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a very specific choice. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Last question of the first four. If you could have an unlimited supply of anything, whiskey, tacos, guitar strings, scotch tape, whatever it is, what would it be?
Unlimited supply of anything, what would it be? Probably fuel.
Okay.
Is that boring?
No, it's better than we've gotten like Fruit Loops, like people want an unlimited supply of cereal. But fuel's practical. You can have fun with it.
I'm thinking about, if you could have an unlimited supply of anything, I feel like Fruit Loops is a pretty careless answer. Just saying.
Okay. You know what? That's a very good point. You got to be practical with it. And Fruit Loops, I feel like, might get old after a little while.
Oh, for sure.
I'm outing myself here. I don't remember who said it, but they're going to listen to this and call me back.
No, it's fuel, I guess, for me, for sure.
Nice. Well, Drake, man, that was the first four. Thanks for playing along, letting everybody kind of get to know you a little bit. But now pull the curtains back a little bit and tell us about you. What was it like growing up, and tell us how you got into music.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in Northeast Alabama in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Very small town, Appalachian kind of funky Muscle Shoals. It was classic rock and 90s country. It was Jeep Renegade rides on back roads and learning how to water ski and catch catfish and run trot lines. And Hank Jr. was a big part of it. My grandfather was a preacher. My grandmother played piano in the choir. My dad was a great singer, and had a great, phenomenal dad and uncle that took me hunting and fishing and taught me how to dance and taught me how to sing. And just a great childhood on the Coosa River there in Northeast Alabama. And, there was always music. There was always music. There was always a grill burning. There was always a deer on the back of a pickup truck somewhere and somebody drinking beer and listening to the radio, and that's where you get me. I grew up in a church going family that they went to church on Sundays and Wednesdays, and they went hard, they partied hard and praised hard and worked harder,
But do you remember your first time up on stage singing? It was at church, right?
Well, yeah, but my very first time was at it definitely was at church, and those were cool. I did a couple of maybe some solos at church, but what I really remember, what started my I guess singing career was there was a beauty pageant. I was like 16, I guess. There was a beauty pageant at Hokes Bluff High School, and I was at the ag department, welding, and I heard this guy playing I'll Be. Is that Brian White or Brian?
Yeah, I think that's Brian White.
Yeah. And I heard him singing it, and he couldn't hit the high notes. And I walked in and just was messing around and had a bunch of soot on me from welding and just hanging out. And I started singing it, and he goes, "Well, man, you ought to sing that tonight." So I sang at the junior senior beauty pageant when I was like in 10th or 11th grade, and I sang Brian White's I'll Be. And I just let it rip, dude. I just peeled it back and let it rip. And I remember my mom like, "What are you?" Like, my mom and aunt came because I didn't even tell them I was doing it. I just did it that night. And it just turned into a lot of, and I loved country music. I loved rock and roll. And so I just started playing and singing and, hanging out around campfires. So that's the way it ended.
I mean, that really is throwing yourself to the wolves, though, going out there in high school for your first time really performing something like that in front of everybody, and you're doing it in front of the whole dang school.
Yeah, it was. And, but I realized really quickly that I liked that. If it's hard or if it makes me a little nervous, I like it. I always have, whether it be, I loved returning punts in high school. I loved the thrill of a big game, or the thrill of singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. I like that. Makes me nervous, and I like the way it feels to do something that makes you nervous, and come out the other side, smiling and high-fiving.
Fair enough. I mean, that's one of those things that not a whole lot of people get to experience, that level of, I guess, adrenaline on one hand of it, but just
Sure.
that experience in general.
Yeah.
And then, so you were in high school. That was your first kind of time up on stage, and then you left there, ended up going to school, and you spent some time in Auburn, right?
Yeah, I went to Auburn, and I actually graduated in 2007 with a building science degree, and moved to Nashville shortly thereafter. But Auburn was where me and my buddy Adam Barb got a couple of Martin guitars and a PA on a stick, and we started playing at the local bar, at a little bar there called Wings to Go. Played at the Warrior Supper Club, played at some fraternities and sororities, and just got bit by the bug there. Started writing songs and, flirting with women and just having a good time. And that's where I really started playing and traveling and playing and making money in bars, playing gigs, 2003, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Nice. And so I am probably about as far away from SEC country as you can get up here in the Northwest. But is the rivalry between Alabama and Auburn really as intense as everybody says it does? And does that do you ever bring that up if you're playing in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah. I'm a weird cookie, buddy, when it comes to that. The answer to your first question is it's 10 times more intense than you would think.
Oh,
There's families that are divided because of Alabama and Auburn. And if you went to an SEC, if you went to an Alabama and Auburn game, you would understand. For me, I love football. I love excellence, and I love, watching it. I love being a part of the game. I love cooking on the tailgate, and I love going to the game and watching it. But my grandfather, his brother was the team dentist for Alabama in the 70s when Bear Bryant was a coach. And I grew up a huge Alabama fan, but Auburn had the school for engineering and structures and all that stuff. They were and it was more of the agri-science type country boy can survive type college, as opposed to Tuscaloosa, which is more metro feeling city living, So Auburn was definitely the gear that my Chevrolet ran in, and I went down there and started hanging up, started deer hunting around that area. And one of my best buddies from high school, Taylor Morgan, was going, and he was a huge Auburn fan. But I said all that to say this: I remained an Alabama fan while going to Auburn the whole time I was going to Auburn.
That sounds dangerous.
It really wasn't, because I didn't really make it. I really didn't let it be known. But then I realized that I was just doing it to prove that it could be done. And once I got out, I was like, man, I don't have anything to prove. I love football and I love Auburn. So I'm an Auburn fan, and I'm a Tuscaloosa Nick Saban fan. I love excellent football. So it's hard not to be an Alabama fan, but I like Auburn, man. I have nothing against Auburn football and athletics. And as far as the school, it is the cream of the crop, man. I love that city, and I love being an Auburn Tiger,
Yeah, and I don't blame you, but you're right. That is it's a very strange mix. Not a lot of people are fans of both, or grew up fans of one and went to the other and then stayed fans of the
extremely strange, man. Extremely. I'm part of the 1%. I'm pretty certain.
I would guess so. So after that, graduated from Auburn, then you moved to Nashville. Did you move to Nashville knowing that you wanted to pursue music when you got there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The bug had bit me square in the butt, down in Auburn. When I got in those bars and in those fraternities and sororities and started playing. And I decided to move after graduation. I had me a job lined up at Auburn and started working as an engineer here in Nashville with American Constructors, and kind of half-assing both things. If I'm being honest with you, I was kind of, 2:30 a.m. loadouts are not conducive to 5:30 a.m. concrete pours.
Oh yeah.
And it just became this thing where I thought I could do both and be comfortable. And music said, no, sir, you got to put it all here. You got to take the risk and jump all the way in. And me and John Party, we played at Losers, on Monday nights from 10 to 2. For the first 5 years we were here, man. And we just started going out there and chopping wood. We were cutting our teeth and I'd already cut my teeth. I'd already been out there playing for a long time, but that's how Nashville was. And we just started jamming, man. And it just happened from there.
Was there any particular moment that you were like, okay, I can finally give up on this construction thing and chase music full time? Or was it just kind of gradual?
No, there was a definite, and it came when my booking agent to this day, Brett Saliba from CAA, came and he said, hey man, do you want to go out and tour with Willie Nelson? And I was like, what are you kidding me? Like, That I actually said that's a stupid question. Like who asked a 25-year-old if they want to do that? Of course. I mean, Willie was like, it still is the top for me. And so that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back of living a normal life of 9 to 5. Well, it wasn't a 9 to 5. Construction's not a 9 to 5. It's a lot longer than that. But that was the gas in the fuel tank to get me across the ledge of all the risk, kind of patted me. And I remember I got paid $500 a show, and it was like, I don't care. I'll figure it out. And I did. I got a publishing deal, started writing songs, started making a little bit of money, had me a little house in East Nashville, can of beans and can of corn, and I was good.
I mean, that is the true Nashville hustle right there.
It's a hustle, man. There's a lot of different ways to skin the cat. And there's a lot of people that come in here in different ways and different things. But man, mine was just hard work on a 2-inch ball, hooking up a trailer and having a ball. It was like, let's go out there and play some music. Let's go out there and be shake them too, and that's all it was.
So you moved there, you had kind of this backup plan of construction. You were pursuing music as well. Is there anything that you wish you would have known about Nashville or about what you were going to have to do when you got there before you moved?
I wish I'd have known about this property that I'm at right now, right when I moved out here, because like I thought it was too far away. And, I wish I would have known that Nashville was going to boom as much as it did. And we did good. I bought some property here and there, but like this place out here, coming out here and buying property then and building a little barn on it and living in the barn and stuff like, so there's that. But as far as music's concerned, I would have just, there are things like I'd have probably been a little bit more patient about, I was pretty fire and brimstone as far as ready to get things down the road and get things on the radio and get things out there. And I probably would have just eased up on that a little bit. I probably would have just made my records and continued to stick in there. I pushed some labels to get my stuff out and pushed them hard. And that's just my nature. Is I'm a strong D on the disc test, if you know what that means. And like, I don't take no for an answer. If I want something, I go out there and get it done. I would have just slowed down and I've been through a lot, and I would have just, observed a little bit more and had a little bit more, cut myself a little bit more of a break, and not necessarily when it's hard. I would have just kept my head down and kept writing my songs and just paid attention to the, like getting to write with Guy Clark. I would have enjoyed that more because I would have slowed down. I mean, now Guy Clark's gone, and now, so many of our heroes are gone that I knew and got a chance to shake hands with. And I was just a little bit, but it's easy to say to me now at 37, as opposed to then at, 20, 22, 23, 24. But I just slow down. If I was a young rattlesnake up here trying to figure it out, I just take it easy. I'd write good songs, and I'd find people that I love to be around, and I'd pick my guitar up every chance I get. And, I'd leave girls alone and pick my guitar up more than the girls out there at night, to quote.
Well, I love it, man. Well, I mean, really, you've had kind of a chance, I guess, not necessarily by choice, but to slow down a little bit over the last couple of years. In 2019, you were diagnosed with a rare disorder called AVM. And then a year later, COVID came and shut down the world. So you couldn't get out and play shows even then. But now, 2.5 years later, you're back, you're ready, you're excited to play. And I have had tickets to see you twice before, and just something has come up out of my control and I haven't been able to make it, but I'm excited to finally see you at Farmjam up on that stage. I've heard incredible things about your live shows, but what can everybody expect when Drake White and the Big Fire hit the stage at Farmjam?
The best live show they've ever seen in their life. You know what I mean?
It. Yes.
It's like, I am shot. We are going to go out there, and That was a little bit of a, but I'm serious, man. I care about every stage that I'm on. And dude, I'm from Alabama, that Muscle Shoals, cosmic country, soul, funky monkey. Let's get after it and have a good time. And now, the message is a little deeper than the bathtub. It's one of those messages that, I had a near-death experience a couple of years ago. So some of these songs are redemptive in the quality of like, hey, when you have a near-death experience, it gives you the authority to go and speak at a different level and talk about things. And I saw some cool stuff, man. And spiritually, I just feel like I'm grounded in this spot where this new record, this new music that's coming out, and this band that I have with the Big Fire Nation and the culture that we've accumulated and planted in the ground, like it's infectious and it's fun, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to have a time of unity where everybody says we're divided. I don't believe that for a minute, man. Just come to the show, and I guarantee you'll leave that show better than you were when you came.
Well, and if you guys out there still don't have tickets, look at the description of this episode. You can get them for just $40, starting out, just 1 day passes. And the Sunday lineup, Drake, is pretty incredible. It's got Stephanie Quayle, Dylan Carmichael, the Scooter Brown Band, Devin Wade, and then you're closing out the festival that night. It's going to be a good time. And you talk about how your music has a little bit of a different meaning now. And you just put out a new EP back in June, I think it was. It's called Hurts the Healing. It's a 2-song release produced by Jaron Johnson from the Cadillac 3. And I want to talk more about that. But first, I want to give everybody kind of a chance to hear what you're talking about and hear the stories behind your song. So before we let everybody take a listen to Hurts the Healing, give everybody the story about how this song came about.
Yeah, man, that's a good one. After I had the AVM rupture, which caused a stroke-like symptoms, my left side was completely paralyzed, and my left hand didn't work, and I couldn't move my left leg, and I couldn't walk. So I had to teach myself how to walk again at 35 years old. And I had to teach myself, I'm still in the process of teaching myself how to play guitar. And, I was praying to God to give me an opportunity to continue to write songs through all this. And I stayed in the hospital 40 days and 40 nights. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think everything happened for a reason. And I met, after that prayer, my publisher at Sony started asking if people were having a hard time grasping how they were going to write on Zoom, but would I be willing to try it? And I was like, well, heck yeah, I can't walk. So we met on Zoom, me and Allison Belts Cruz, and a guy named Aaron Chaffin. And Aaron Chaffin told this story about his mom and dad being in a horrific car wreck that landed them in the hospital for 6 months in hospital beds beside each other. And the funny thing was they were about to get a divorce. They were in a bad part of their marriage and were about to get a divorce. And this injury landed them for 6 months where they had to be stuck together. And now they've been married for 30 plus years because he said, maybe the hurt, maybe the pain was the healing. Maybe the hurt is the healing. And we started writing and kept on chipping away. I said, maybe tears don't fall for nothing. Maybe you're struggling and going through something that you don't know why, and you don't know how, and it takes years to figure it out. That's what the stroke was doing for me. That's what the car wreck did for Aaron Chaffin's mom and dad. That's what, a lot of these COVID cases, that's what they're doing. Some of these people are going through stuff that's unfathomable, man. The folks that I've met through philanthropic work in Haiti or wherever we've been, and it's one of those songs that just says, hey, you're not the only one struggling. Pick up your cross and run with it, because, everybody struggles and everybody has their cross to bear. And maybe that cross bearing, that struggle, is you healing and you getting to where you need to be. And that's what that song's about, man. And it took the angel side. It took my wife and my fans, thousands of fans that wrote me all these letters and wrote me all these things, and a band that stuck beside me and friends that stuck beside me and prayed for me. It took that angel side to get from the hurt to the healing. So this is the first 2 songs off the Optimistic record that we will be releasing very, very soon. It's going to be a 15-song record that's just full of, the last 2 years of my life, really, or really 3 or 4. But
well, here, let's let everybody take a listen to the first song. It's the title track off of the EP that came out on Spotify, but it sounds like it's part of a bigger album coming out soon. It's called Hurts the Healing by Drake White.
Maybe tears don't fall for nothing. Maybe their rivers rushing, baptize me clean. Maybe fear is a friend I should be facing. In that midnight cold sweat shaking, in this prayer I'm whispering, oh, goodbyes. Oh, they cut like knives. This pain ain't nothing like I've ever known. This heartbroken has got a hold and won't let go. No, even in the worst I got a feeling. Maybe the hurt's the healing. Maybe the hurt's the healing. Maybe lonely is that road digging deeper. Maybe sorrow is the preacher that brings me back to faith. Maybe failure will put a chip here on my shoulder, make me stand a little bolder. The finish is raised. Yeah, this pain ain't nothing like I've ever known. This heartbroken's got a hold and won't let go. No, even in the worst I got a feeling. Yeah, maybe the hurt's the healing. Yeah. Maybe losing ain't a home team outnumbered, but it's fuel for the hunger for that second win. Oh, yeah. This pain ain't nothing like I've ever known. This heartbroken's got a hold and won't let go. No, even in the worst I got a feeling. Yeah, maybe the hurt's the healing. Maybe the hurt's the healing. Yeah, maybe the hurt's the healing. Maybe the hurt's the healing.
And that one was called Hurts the Healing by Farmjammer Drake White. And I'm excited to see that one live. And that, Drake, honestly, is one of the most intense and also kind of beautiful stories behind a song that I've heard in all my time doing this podcast. So I can definitely see, why you put this song out, why, it was written the way it was, but it was produced by Jaron Johnson. And for those of you out there that don't know who that is, he's from the Cadillac 3. He's a great producer, great songwriter. How'd you get hooked up with him for this project?
Well, the circles are, there's in Nashville, you find your circle, you find your dogs that you hunt with, and you go hunting. And that's what me and Jaron did. We've been friends for a very long time, and I've always appreciated his take on music, and just decided I wanted to make a record with him, and he helped me produce. We both wrote and produced this record together, and it's just something that he's just a buddy, and he's been in the ditches and been out there doing the same thing I've been doing for 15, 20 years. So it's small. It was small back then. It's still small. Nashville's it's growing, but you find your circles and you find your people that you talk like and you walk like and you grip the guitar like, and you just figure it out.
Well, and I think that's kind of one of the underappreciated pieces of Nashville and country music songwriting outside of people that are in the know or in Nashville, that sort of thing. There really are these circles, and you talked about John Party and that sort of thing before that. But I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about songwriting and songwriting with a group like that. Is it something where you typically come up with a melody or a lyric or something by yourself and bring it to a group that you typically co-write with, or do you write by yourself, or do you kind of start everything in that group?
No, man, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, sometimes you write with one person, sometimes you write by yourself, sometimes you write with 3 people, sometimes you write with 2 people, sometimes you write with your dog. I mean, your wife gives you an idea. And I like that Buzz Lightyear quote in Toy Story: "Be alert, adventure can strike from any direction." So like the quote, like, be alert, like you can write a song can strike from any direction, from any action, from anything, from heartache, from happiness, from sex, to love, to hunting, to fishing, to riding a ski boat, to going too fast. And it's one of those things where there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just falls, and people were meant to do it, and we just do it.
I think that is completely true. The next song that we have for everybody, it's the second song that you released in June. It's called Angel Side of You. What was the writing process for this song when you sat down and you knew what you were going to do? But what was the process of sitting down and actually writing this one like?
Is Eric Pasley and Allison Velt's Cruise again. And I mean, we were on Zoom. We were on Zoom doing it, because that's the way 2020 was. They we had to stay at home and write. So it was like, I was just talking about my wife, Alex, and how, she doesn't see it all the time. She doesn't see how great and how much she sacrifices. And she helped me learn to walk again. She helps this music as much as she listens to everything I write, everything I do. And she is the angel side of what healed me and what kept me chipping along and what kept me living a life worth living,
Well, here, let's let everybody take a listen to this one. It's called Angel Side of You by Drake White.
You're first to the front line and reaching for mine. You're the hope in the cold, high dead of the night. I run to the fire, stained glass reminder. You're a Hail Mary prayer floating up in the sky. Heaven must be listening to every word you're whispering. If I were God, I'd talk to you too, 'cause I'd still be highly there and stubborn as the wild wind. Every stitch across his beating heart is proof that you can't hide the angel side of you. No, you don't always see it, but baby, believe it. When the rain's pouring down, your ray up above, so make me a witness to the power of your kiss. Oh, where would I be without your healing touch? Yeah, heaven must be listening to every word you're whispering. If I were God, I'd talk to you too, 'cause I'd still be highly there, stubborn as the wild wind. Every stitch across his beating heart is proof that you can't hide the angel side of you. You can't hide it, you can't fight it. Girl, you I can't lose you. Hallelujah, you're a miracle. Whoa, heaven must be listening to every word you whisper. If I were God, I'd talk to you too. Yeah, oh, I'd still be hard-living and stubborn as the wild wind. Every stitch across this beating heart is froze. Oh, that you can't hide the angel side of you. No.
And that one was Angel Side of You by Drake White. You can see him Sunday night at Farmjam in Colville. Get tickets at the link in our description. But Drake, man, it has been an absolute blast chatting with you. Can't wait to see you out at Farmjam. But before we let you go, we end every podcast kind of the same way we start it. We call it the Final Four. Just 4 more questions that are going to make you think a little bit. You up for it?
Yeah.
It's time for the Final Four.
Question number 1. What's your favorite venue that you've ever played?
Red Rocks.
Ooh, that was fast.
It's easy.
You knew that one. Awesome. Okay, how about this one? Who are the 3 most recently played artists on your Spotify or Apple Music playlist?
Tyler Childers, Tedeschi Trucks, and Ashley McBride.
You are ready for these ones. I'm kind of impressed.
Well,
okay. Here we go. Question number 3. You're out on the road. What's the one restaurant that you have to stop at every time you pass it?
Taco Bell.
I love it, man. That's a good pick too. Okay, here we go. Last question.
Oh yeah.
If you could pick one thing for people to take away from your appearance on this podcast or just your music in general, what would it be?
That tomorrow's going to be better than today. That there are more good people than bad out there. No matter what the news says, get out and look at the rapids. Get out and go fishing. Get out and help a kid learn how to read. Get out and go to a concert. Get out and look at something besides a computer screen or a TV screen, and you'll find out really quick that the state of this country and the state of this world is in a good spot.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself, Drake White. Drake, man, thank you so much for jumping on here. I'm excited to meet you in person out at Farmjam and see you play.
All right, I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you, man. And that was another episode of the Tea Party Podcast. It's a country music podcast where you find new friends and new music like Drake White and Hurts the Healing.
Go tee off on the like button at facebook.com/Tea Party Podcast. This has been a Tea Party Communications production. Theme music created by Jesse Quandt. Announcer voiceovers by Jay Gwinn. And as always, hosted by Pisani.